Welcome to a game between n0ddz here in blue, starting with jump bots and an engineer commander. And he's going against dyth68 with Ampbot factor and a strike commander. Let's start. So dyth requested this game, and he said he struggles a bit against jump bots in general. And yeah, this matchup is pretty rough for especially Ampbots, because ducks, they're kind of slow and they have low DPS, and their attacks can even be dodged by pyros. So with a well-timed jump you can dodge at least one volley of attacks, and then since they got the same speed of 90, you can choose to disengage with the pyro while the duck burns. So it is totally up to the micro of the jump bot player to score kills, or like choose to engage and retreat. So a pyro can easily beat a single lone duck. Against two ducks it's a bit more scary, but yeah, the pyro can go in from an angle, only attack the duck and then jump out if the jump bot player think he's gonna lose. So it's basically up. If a well micro pyro is gonna be hard to deal with for ducks, and it's also hard to switch out into other units, like you might want to go for archers, but archers are even slower, so you're gonna struggle to be in position. Against match pyros, yeah, archer is pretty good, but in low numbers the pyro player can still do this micro where they go in, damage the archer a bit and then retreat. So yeah, are you gonna get this pyro? No, you don't quite. Yeah, n0ddz jumps away in time. So yeah, it can be hard to get map control with Ampbots against pyros. So yeah, you might want to depend a bit more on what would you call it, on Lotus turrets against pyros. Like pyros in combination, like a pyro going against a single Lotus turret, then you can kind of bait the pyro into the, look here, that's a nice dodge. You can see that the missile missed and the pyro survives and killed the duck with only one hit taken. So, and this was 3 ducks, and without, if you don't have like a good spread, yeah, the pyro can do this. At least now the jump is almost, it was just out of cooldown, but yeah, you got it. You gotta hit there and kill the pyro. So yeah, if you have a Lotus turret, then the pyro is either forced to engage the Lotus turret, and you can use, then it can dodge as well. So you can let the Lotus turret deal damage at range and then kill the, and if the pyro chooses to commit, you can then use the ducks. So yeah, you can see here, yeah, some misses here from the Ampbots. Will this duck burn to die? Yeah, it even dies from that via burn time. So even against a high number of ducks, you can like skirmish with the pyro and then jump away to dodge a few attacks and take minimal damage. So yeah, it's really hard to deal with against the well micro pyros. It's really hard to deal with. Should you go for archers on an open map like this, where the whole middle is empty? Yeah, it's hard for you. It's hard to get map control with ducks against pyros. So yeah, you probably want to be a bit defensive, like make Lotus turret here. You might be afraid of the pyro jumping up there. At least you're getting a con there. That's nice. Like if you get a Lotus turret there and Lotus turret there, that's pretty good, or Lotus turret there and Lotus turret there, because yeah, jump has a lot of advantages on this map. So yeah, burning away and killing one duck and then having to retreat. This is also like, if a pyro is engaging 2 ducks, it will lose if the ducks are hitting the target. So, and then if you jump away, it will probably severely damage. So then you at least need some repair micro. Yeah, you can see here, since you don't have any Lotus turrets and only slow ducks to react with, you're kind of not in position to deal with it. At least enemies wasting some pyros over here, and you're getting some raiding in here. and you get that pyro. Yeah, if you get close in range, yeah, the two ducks will kill a pyro, but that should be considered a mistake on the jump bot player's part. Going for bulkheads is ill advisable. I don't like bulkheads against jump bots. I mean, what are they good against? Moderators can kind of sort of dodge a shot, and if they take some damage, they can retreat and repair. And moderators are still decently good against ducks, like they one-shot the ducks, and the ducks are relatively slow, so the opponent usually have time to react. But still, you got one moderator there. So a well-microed pyro and moderator combo should really easily beat a bulkhead. And a bulkhead is slow and it has to be stationary to fire, so the jump bot players all the time in the world to like choose to retreat, especially on a large map with an open center like this. The jump bot player has all the initiative. They can choose to engage, and if like they take too much damage on their moderators or pyros, they can choose to disengage from the bulkheads. I mean, if you have some bulkheads and some ducks, they will kill pyros and moderators of cost if the enemy player isn't paying attention. But yeah, if the enemy player is paying attention or set their units to auto retreat on low health, they will just disengage and repair before that. So I wouldn't suggest bulkheads. Having a few limpets among your mix is necessary. It gives much more room to counter pyros. So always have a few limpets. That's a good idea with your ducks. Like once the enemy gets more pyros, in this game n0ddz hasn't made a lot of pyros, so. But if the enemy has a larger number of pyros, yeah, you can at least slow them. And here you should get a decent round on these units. The moderators, the placeholder will get some units stuck, so yeah, and they're reinforcing time. So yeah, if this wouldn't have been a bulkhead, and if you had it spread out better, you might have gotten a better result. But yeah, this is hard to counter. And this is being sneaky here, making a scuttle with their commander. That's a pretty interesting thing to do, that you can do. Scuttle is slow, so building it out on the field is a pretty good advantage, and you don't have to waste so much energy and time walking towards the front, so that's a pretty good idea. So yeah, on this map it's hard to be defensive because there is so much open ground in the middle that you have to contend with. But you see, so far you've done pretty well killing mexes and keeping even on the armor value. But yeah, you're basically losing map control here. This could be raided by ducks, but yeah, you're gonna struggle to deal with this. Should you expect this scuttle? It's hard to know when it's coming. It's really hard to predict. Really sneaky of n0ddz to make it out on the field like that. And when you're distracted, he gets your commander. And yeah, now that the enemy is retreating to these places, it's hard to get them out of position. I mean, duck puppies are a decent screen against moderators as well, so yeah. So what would be a better unit combo? My favored unit combo is actually the boy. Another good jump there from n0ddz. My favorite unit is actually boy. It has more health, so it can survive more shots, and it can move, and then it can also be thrown by lobsters. So you can throw them against moderators, and since moderators are kind of squishy and boys have a lot of health, yeah, it's kind of worth it. And then you can also mix in some limpets to slow down pyros. And you can see here, if the enemy is like not paying attention, they will lose their pyros to bulkheads and don't set the units on auto retreat. So if the jump bot player is making mistakes, bulkheads work, but they shouldn't work. Then boys are much better. You can like throw them against a moderator, only does 416 damage, and the boy has 1250 HP. So yeah, you can take 2 shots and not die with your moderator, with your boy. And you might even have some ducks. If a duck takes a shot instead of the boy, that's also good. And if you can, you prevent the limpets can prevent the pyros from diving your boys too much, and slowing down the pyro once it's close to your boys helps the boys hit it. And you can also like, yeah, ducks do decently if you're just forcing the pyros to engage. But yeah, like this, you're just pushing the bulkers out on the field here. Oh, and you get a shot there. That was actually, I think that was a puppy killing your own units, so it's kind of lucky. But yeah. So I would suggest going for like boys, limpets, ducks, maybe a scallop could be considered. But that's boys are still gonna be slow to get out on the map. So on an open map like this, it's not that favorable for jump bots, I'd say. Yeah. Archers, sure, if you want to make a few archers, that's fine, but it's also making your army slower, so... And they're about as good as ducks. Like, if the enemy is massing pyros and jumping into you, ducks and limpets will do well, and archers and limpets will do well. Archers might do a little better to protect your boys, but not much. It's only if the pyro player accidentally bunches up their pyros that you're gonna really benefit from the archer. And yeah, as I said, the pyro can still like go in and deal some damage on the archer and then retreat and jump. So the initiative is still on the pyro side. So yeah, I'm not. So yeah. Oh, he lost a scuttle there, doing nothing. Should you go for Grizzly? Probably not. If you are unlucky, you might get placeholder and run down by moderators, and if you get slowed, you might get run down. It depends on the situation. I would just recommend using boys instead and a lobster. Like that, I mean, jump bots can jump, so why not jump at them to prevent them from escaping? So, yeah. So I would really suggest using like boys and lobster instead of bulkheads. And then it's a decently, like, the stage you're gonna suffer mostly is if the enemy micros really well, and if the enemy is microing really well and retreats their pyros and kill a duck, retreats, heals, kill 2 ducks, retreat, heals. Yeah, that's when you're gonna struggle against a line of pyros, and you probably have to, on an open map like this. Yeah, pyros can easily give the Amp-bot player the map advantage. On a smaller, more contended map, like, yeah, boys will threaten, like, if you push against the enemy with boys, boys can take like 2 shots of moderators before going down. If you can push much easier with boys. If you get their commander out of position, you slow their commander, and it's an easy kill with your boys. So yeah, I'd really recommend using boys and lobsters, limpets, ducks. Maybe a scallop against jump bots. But on an open map like this, yeah, amp bots are gonna struggle against pyros. So that's their main issue with pyros. Yeah. And that's the thing about, you also asked about jump bots in general. And yeah. Jump bots have some good matchup, but it's mostly depending on like how they micro their units. Like, for example, you asked about jump against spiders. I wouldn't really recommend. Hermits have also the issue of like, hermits can work, but it's also like, it's timing based. If you have enough time to push through and kill their expansion or even their base, hermits can work. But otherwise, if the enemy is retreating and repairing the units well, yeah, moderators and pyros are gonna beat them. Placeholders can be a nice addition to make it harder to approach the enemy. But yeah, and Firewalk is also really good against spiders. You might morph shield against that, but yeah. Tanks do suffer horribly versus moderators and placeholders. That's true, because they're only the Kodachi, their cheapest unit, is like, what is it, like 170 metal, I think, or 160, 170, I think. That's, yeah, and moderators are gonna eat that for lunch. But I'd actually say that tanks on this map is more favored than Anvilwoods against jump bots, because pyros aren't that good against Kodachis, and Kodachis are much faster and you can make blitz as well and repair. Then it's also on the same foot, like you want to repair your Kodachis and repair your blitzes, and you're much faster than a moderator and moderator army and a placeholder army, and you're faster than pyros even, so you can kind of like keep the open ground and outmaneuver the enemy moderators and an army in general and harass its position, and it should give you the reclaim advantage in the middle. There's quite a bit of reclaim at the beginning of this game, so yeah, even if you tanks are actually better on this map against jump bots than Anv bots, I'd say. So yeah. So yeah, tanks, and then you after that you can go for like, after initial engagement you can stay to like, you can make a pork line and high band stingers, or like lotus turrets, and you can make artillery. Yeah, tanks has a lot of options, and you can keep outmaneuvering the enemy, and even outmaneuver the enemy with minotaurs. Just make sure you don't try to like overcommit against placeholders and moderators, because moderators technically hard counter pretty much the whole factory, but you can outmaneuver them and play with defenses and make defensive lines and start using artillery or something like that. So yeah, well managed jump bots are hard to deal with, and you're right that approaching placeholders and moderators is kind of an all or nothing thing. You need to get a real good spread to avoid getting too many units catched by the placeholder, and you also need enough units to kill the moderators. Yeah, other factories struggle less against these, because like glaives are cheaper and faster, bandits do more DPS, and pyros can't dodge bandits so much. So yeah, would I recommend that you don't go Amphbot on this map just because of this open ground in the middle that the pyros get advantage on? Yes, I would suggest that. On a map like Fallendale, it's more even, because then it's closer and you can push the enemy better with boys. And once you get enough boys up, that's kind of hard to deal with for the enemy. You can repair the boys. Moderates are squishy. If you throw a lobster in against a small army of moderates, you can obliterate them with ducks and boys. And if the enemy, yeah, and Limpus can help deal with pyros when there's a lot of numbers. And when the positions are closer, you can defend yourself with ducks in combination with defenses. Then the pyros can skirmish, because if they go in, they take damage against a lotus turret, and then if they go full in, you can defend with ducks. So yeah, it's a lot easier, for example, to use Amphbots against pyros on Fallendale, for example. Those are my tips to you. Good luck and have fun.